All right, guys, this video is probably, I don't know, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks too old, but it's a topic that we need to talk about anyway. It's something that I've really wanted to talk about for a little while, and it's a topic that's come up before and we'll talk about again later. We kind of need to talk about APBA's customer service. So without any further ado, let's get into this. So I switch over here to the screen view. This is one of my numerous email accounts. This comes from the APBA Game Company, February 13th, 2024, Volume 5, Issue 52. I'm not sure that all the past newsletters are actually available on APBA's website. I think I looked once and couldn't find them, but whatever. I don't really care. This is the thing that we need to look at. So this is John Herson, who is going to... He's about to go on another one of his little rants. Some of you are aware of this, right? He says things like he doesn't have time to go onto social media, he doesn't have time to talk about stuff, and reminds us that he's a one-person show, which is what I think the problem is, right? So let's see here. I opened an email the other day and found out that I was selling APBA. APBA here is highlighted because I was searching for my email, and Gmail is just like that, whatever. Later that day, I found out that I was sick. All of this is nonsense. The ladies have a few things to say. I concede my time to them. I'm not sure what that means. Thanks, John. You all, several things have happened over the last 6 weeks or so that we want to address. We did not go on vacation for 2 weeks of Christmas. We used the 2 weeks to prepare for the new baseball card sets, create team envelope sets, shipping prep, and reorganizing the warehouse for the new set. Please email us the day before you want to visit us. There are two reasons for that. One, to make sure someone will be here. When we have family events, primarily grandchildren, we are going to them. And two, to make sure we have in stock the product you want. That's really weird to me, right? Because my understanding was that they moved the APBA Game Company down to Alpharetta, Georgia, to avoid having a physical location and physical presence, and also because they were going to print on demand. If anybody knows how this works, please let me know. I'm just curious, right? I don't want to like dump on John for this, but I thought that the purpose of moving the company all those years ago was precisely to avoid this type of situation. I didn't know I could show up and see if you have cards. If you blast us on social media looking for your order, be decent enough to report on social media when you get your order. Oh boy. We take a lot of pride in the job that we do for you all. Yes, sometimes we make mistakes. Everyone does. If you're going to post a complaint, the right thing to do is post how the issue was resolved. Have you had issues with APBA and ordering things? If so, post down below how the issue was resolved. Better Business Report. At the Better Business Bureau, BBB, someone posted that APBA's Better Business Report grade is an F. That is true. We asked John why this was so. He does not reply to the BBR request for a response because it makes no difference in the result. And then at the end, lastly, remember during the busy season, January and February, there is a good chance your order will not be filled in 10 to 14 days. Your order will not be delivered in 10 to 14 days. I can understand your order will not be filled in 10 to 14 days is a problem. In this day and age. That's ridiculous. Be patient, and we appreciate each and every member of the APBA game, of the APBA community, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, you know, I was a little bit curious about that, right? I was curious to look at the Better Business Bureau report, and we'll talk about this a little bit here. Let's just go take a look. I actually haven't read through this yet, so this might be a fun thing to do together. So here's the Better Business Bureau. APBA Games at Alpharetta, Georgia, so it's the right game, has a 5 out of 5 customer review from one customer. The rating and accreditation is an F. It's not accredited, which is not a great sign, right? Let's start by saying I was a customer of about 30 years. This is from, like almost a year ago. I purchased APBA Go approximately 2 to 3 weeks ago. Now I have only had experience in baseball for Windows. There was a setup I didn't know how to apply. I sent Tech my question. 10 days later, still no answer. And they have an unsubscribe button on the site, which I clicked. It came up with an unsubscriber fail. I once again emailed them no answer. And he's talking about how he ordered hundreds and hundreds of dollars of product and nothing happened. Let's read a couple more complaints here and take a look, right? Well, it looks like many of these look like they're from similar people, but I guess not. They're all from different ones. Anyway, hours and hours pass by. This guy doesn't have any sort of resolution, and there are other complaints on the forums showing that the business doesn't care. John, you might want to respond to some of this, right? This is not good. Otherwise, you're going to get videos like these. This is from a month earlier. So this is almost a year ago, right? It's possible the things have changed. Cards came, but the disk is inoperable. He sent an email. He says, it won't load on the personal computer. Place the disk in the disk drive. And it sounds like it was trying to read the disk and nothing appears on the screen. There was a small window to unzip the files. I pushed the button. It said successful. Nothing happened. I have Windows 8.1. What do I need to do? He contacted APBA headquarters and there was no way to get help. This is not the way to treat customers. Yeah, that's a problem, right? This person says, I purchased multiple items from APBA. Paid $462, November 18th, 2022. I was upcharged later for shipping. Somebody just the other day, right? And you know that I filmed these like a week or 2 weeks in advance or so. Somebody just the other day here on one of my older videos left a comment saying that if you order anything from outside like the United States from APBA, upcharged shipping will be automatically added to your order without letting you know at the time of your order, which is what it sounds like this was. That's a problem. That's a major problem. I also was not told when the items would be shipped, if they had been shipped, nor did they provide a tracking number for the shipment. I have sent multiple emails to the company and none have been returned. They gave me a website to check in the order after acknowledging my order, but the website didn't work. I think that's been a problem for a while, right? You guys remember when I was talking about the APBA website and how they're still using the Yahoo system to process orders, like the Yahoo ordering system? That's the same system that I remember them using in the late 1990s. That's another sign of a problem. I mean, this is a real problem, right? When it comes to trying to deliver games to your customers. That system was not the best online shopping system in like 98 or 99 when I would order stuff straight from the company, right? I mean, I can't imagine how bad it is now. Here we go. Purchased a board game from APBA Games. This is, 2 years ago. Was sent order confirmation and the order was processed on my debit card. Reached out several times through email. Never got a response till January 28th when they told me my card declined. And I sent them a photo of my bank statement proving them that the payment went through and now I can't get a response from them. This is the worst customer service I've ever received. Yeah. I wonder how that one was fulfilled. This one actually does have a response from APBA. This is 2021. Where the person claimed that they were charged $25, they did not receive the file, and then there were no responses to emails. The business response, we've emailed the file to this customer 3 times at 2 different email addresses. Consumer response, this is totally false. Business response, he did a chargeback, the matter is resolved. He did a chargeback, yeah, it was like, over 2 months later? I'm not surprised. This is interesting. This is interesting, right? And it's an interesting pattern. Now, a couple of bad Better Business Bureau complaints over the course of a couple of years does not necessarily mean that like John is out there trying to steal everybody's money or anything like that. But the fact that he's not doing anything to respond to these concerns is very, very concerning to me. How many people work for APBA these days? That's my biggest question, right? I don't know like what kind of revenue they're bringing in, but I mean, like I said before, my assumption was that they went down to Georgia so that there was not going to be like an office, right? That they're in some sort of like office park or something somewhere. In large part because they wanted to go away from the old Lancaster model of having people sort of show up and check the place out, right? Because you're not going to bring in enough money to be able to staff the office. I mean, that makes sense. I don't think it's a bad thing for him to say, hey, let me know if you're going to show up because I'm probably not going to be there. I have grandchildren and stuff. I mean, absolutely, he should be with his grandkids. I agree with him 100% when it comes to this. But like, why even provide people with the option of doing this? And as I said before, my understanding was that all the orders would be print to demand, right? Not you show up and maybe we have it in stock, maybe we don't. That's really weird. That's just bizarre to me. I don't understand that at all because that makes me ask, why did you move the company, right? Instead of staying in Lancaster where you had the history and the connections. I don't understand this. The biggest question that I have, though, is why are we not hiring more staff? I mean, clearly there are more orders coming into APBA than the APBA game company right now can handle. Otherwise, you wouldn't have this problem and you wouldn't have these delays, right? The correct answer would be to hire somebody to help, right? So that they can figure out these delays. Maybe you should hire somebody to rework your ordering system so you're not using the Yahoo Shop thing from the late 90s, right? That might be a start, right? You probably also need somebody to come redo the website because, as I've said before, the website's absolutely atrocious. You can't figure out anything about the APBA game company or the APBA game itself from the website. I mean, it's horrible. There's no information there. It links to a bunch of YouTube videos from, that don't show anything about the game. They show like a bunch of 9-year-old kids kind of horsing around with it. You're not going to attract customers that way. Having said that, and having sort of expressed some of my complaints about this, I'm going to tell you that it was worse, and I remember when it was worse. So back in 2001, my dad and I went on a trip around the country. I grew up in the suburbs of Salt Lake City, Utah, and we went all the way over to the East Coast. We went to New York City and back. We hit a whole bunch of baseball stadiums along the way. We went to Cooperstown. We did all sorts of fun stuff. And, being the fanatics for APBA that we were, we decided to head over to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, on our way there. Lancaster, which isn't really that far from where I live right now. And we saw the old APBA building, and we went inside. It was, for us, like we were going to Disneyland, and when we went inside, we were quite surprised. Nobody seemed very happy to see us there. This was during one of APBA's many bankruptcies / lack of ability to sell their own cards. And so, as I recall, there were no card sets that could be purchased there, though we strongly suspected that they had some in their warehouse. This was back when I think there was a problem with the rights of old player names and stuff like that, so they went through a period where they weren't selling any old card sets. It was really complicated. I think we bought a new copy of the APBA Master game, and I think we got something like the Wizard for Windows Disk. This was back when it was on the old 3.5-inch floppy. And that was it. It was a pretty sort of rude and cold reception that we received. And, when I go back and I read through the APBA journal and I look through the old articles, I really felt that I was kind of hard done by. I'm reading these articles from, especially the mid-'80s, even a little bit before then, about, the trek to the APBA game company and receiving kind of a warm reception. And you go around and you can see, I think for a while there was an old copy of the game on display and a bunch of stuff like that. That's all it would have taken for us, right? We didn't want to go there and spend the whole day there. We just wanted to sort of, go to Mecca and see things and pay our respects, right? And back in 2001, it definitely was not the case. It was a very, very cold reception, and I can tell you that in large part because of this experience, by the time February 2002 rolled around, we were playing Diamond Mine Baseball. That was it for the APBA game company. We didn't want to have anything to do with that anymore. So that's the problem. Look, when it comes to these issues, right, it's very, very likely, and I think it is the case, that John is doing a better job than the people who were running APBA in 2001, right? In my mind, there's no question, right? I know that J. Richard Seitz is remembered for rather poor customer service. My understanding is that in person, he was actually a very personable character. But I know that Seitz had all sorts of problems. We'll talk about all of that stuff later on, right? But the problem that John Herson has to understand is that the perception that your customers have of you is the most important thing, right? If customers look at this company and develop a perception that your customer service is bad, that you're going to overcharge people for things, they don't know when their order is even going to be fulfilled, let alone delivered, right? And that, you just drop the ball left and right. This is a problem. This is where the company will start to really fall apart. There are competitors to APBA, right? You don't have to worry about, Bill Staffa, Skeetersoft selling cards anymore because he got out of that business a while ago. He could see that wasn't, going to be profitable. And he's old. He's in his 80s, I think, right? But you do have to compete with the NPIII game, which I think is probably a better product than APBA Go. At least I don't have to subscribe to play it, right? There are numerous other baseball sims out there. OOTP, as we've said before, is almost certainly the leading baseball sim right now. It's really hard for young people to, understand why they should play this antiquated board game as opposed to playing a game that has graphics and has, the capability of doing so much with minor leagues and with the computer general manager and stuff like that. As it stands right now, there are a lot of reasons for people not to buy products from the APBA game company. Having customer service like this is only going to drive your existing customers away, right? This is a problem. This needs to be fixed. And really, you need to hire people to fix this problem. And if hiring people means you have to have more revenue, then you need to figure out how to earn more revenue as a game company and not just sit down and make easy money off of the same whales who will just buy the same sets every year and who will rebuy all of the old sets, with slightly updated versions, based on old seasons they already own. That's what's happening right now. Right? At some point in time, this game company needs to evolve or it will go under. And what I see right now are clear signs that the game company is going to go under. I'm worried about it. This comes from a place of love. I love the APBA game company. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff, right? But I'm really, really worried about this, John. You got to do better. This is not acceptable. Anyway, I'd love to know what you guys think. Let me know down below. Talk to you later. Bye.